this. Like field
And
sketches are one of my
this is
favorite
a
things.
sunbird.
Wow. My name is Sara Wolman. I'm from Fairbanks, Alaska in the United States, and I am a digital and fine artist. And a lot of the work that I do revolves around wildlife and the environment and conservation issues. So I think artist residencies in general really help me in particular for inspiration. So easy to kind of have artistic tunnel vision when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when you get to a residency, you are usually in a completely different place. You have a project in mind. There's just this open flowing of ideas constantly, be it with a mentor, curator, or fellow artist. So all of that kind of influences your practice. And that's why I like to do residencies. And I particularly chose this one, Studio 88 in Thailand, because it was so vastly different from the places I had been living and working before. And I've been trying to really connect a lot of the pieces of birds that are in my collection and what I'm working on in different spaces in this world and places that I connect to. And I want to try and put it all together so we all have this sort of similar connection. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to be here in Doisaket. And it's been really inspiring and incredible. So a lot of my creative process in general has to do with being in the environment that I'm in. And you could not have asked for a better space than here because it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I get up and I'm just staring out my window at these bamboo that are like 60 years old, I think, and hearing all the different bird calls every day, learning about the different birds that are just tapping at my window. So I spend like a good couple hours in the morning just kind of taking it all in because it's such a different place. And that for me, I think is one of the most important parts of my work is just understanding and looking at all the shapes and the light and the wildlife that are in these spaces and like how I interact with them and the moments that I have. Um, and then I like to just kind of walk around the village and the town and see like what people are doing and get to know people and see what daily life is like. Because I think it takes time to understand a place, even in the brief time that I've been here. But I spend as much time as I can doing that and taking it all in and taking a nice nap in the middle of the heat of the day because I'm a night worker, and then it all comes to me after dark, my entire day of kind of taking everything in and talking to people and seeing how beautiful the landscape is and learning, and then it all kind of culminates in like an evening studio session where I just kind of plug in my music and go and eat a lot of awesome food. Really incredible food all the time. It's hard because there were so many different profound experiences, but and just generally engaging with people here and being in such a different space. But something I made a habit of in the morning was getting up and experiencing it while it was still a little chilly, because I find that you have to appreciate the goosebumps in extreme environments, or the warmth in my case in Alaska. But I would get on the bike and roll around town and go through just kind of like the forest and hear all the birds kind of waking up everybody and seeing the sun come up, and in the evening seeing the sun come down. It was nice because I was by myself. I was able to reflect on my time and the space that I'm in, and because this residency revolves around communicating air pollution and PM 2.5, so seeing that in real time and seeing that almost every day, and the colors and the way that like shapes the landscape was pretty profound for me. Like just those quiet moments alone in nature. So I would say one of the most interesting things about being here at Studio 88, and the ways that Studio 88 really helped me was coordinating a space that I had never been to, and I don't know the language, but I feel that I am a lot more comfortable trying to learn that now after being here. Was just such a wonderful facilitator, and just going through all of the talks and meeting people, kind of getting the cultural rundown of how things are done here, was so helpful to me as somebody that really values a sense of place in my work and like how we interact with that sense of place. So that's what I think was the most helpful and interesting part of this, was really kind of getting a beat on just the culture here, even in the small amount of time that I did spend here. Because it is challenging as coming from, I'm from the United States and I don't know any Thai, to try and meet people that are in your line of work or in your like line of interest. I'm always looking for like scientists, and they're very hard to get a hold of because they're busy. They have a lot of things going on. So it was incredibly helpful to get over that hurdle. I didn't even really have to think about it. It was very streamlined by going through Studio 88. So that was in itself an incredibly valuable resource. So my next big project is kind of just an ongoing project, and I feel like it ebbs and flows. Where I'm very much exploring how different places and nature in particular kind of connects us, because I think there is a really inherent spiritual deep connection that we all have and share. But it's hard to see in our daily lives because we are going about doing the things that we need to do to survive. So I'm trying to really find that connection, and going to these different spaces where these birds migrate to is a really good tangible way to show how we are connected and how these animals are affected by the places that we live in, even if we're thousands and thousands of miles apart. So things I have been considering for a while is the effects of pollution and just general climate change on the environment, and I want to do it kind of on a bigger scale and show how that does affect different areas. And so I'd love to be able to do more of these exhibitions simultaneously, like across continents where a lot of these animals migrate to. And this is a really great space because it is in a major flyway that connects me to back home in Alaska. So I want to kind of explore that more and explore working with like wind and patterns and more about like the wildlife that we see in these spaces and how we are all connected to them.